Welcome and hello. This is a video tutorial on HEC HMS, and in this lesson, I'm going to talk about computation points. Hydrologic elements in the basin model are typically designated as computation points when they have observed flow or observed stage data, which will be involved with the model calibration and simulation runs, as well as forecast alternatives. What I have on the screen here is a project I've just created with a basin. And now I'm going to go ahead and sketch out a very simple uh, model network here that we can use to demonstrate computation points. I'm going to start with a subbasin. I'll call it subbasin 1. Next, I'll create a reach and just put that right here. I'll just use the default name, reach 1. Next, I'll add a junction. Click the junction tool, put that here. Junction 1 is fine. And let's go with another reach. Here, I'll connect it in just a bit. That's reach 2. And then let's finish off with an outlet, which is a sink. All right, next I'll go ahead and click the arrow tool and connect this network. Connect downstream to this reach, and then this reach will connect downstream to our junction 1. Junction 1 will connect downstream to reach 2, and reach 2 will connect downstream to our outlet, which is sink 1. All right, so this is our network. To set a computation point, it would be set to any of the hydrologic elements we see on the map here. Right click, select computation point. This is assigning a computation point to that element. When we do that, you notice there's a little red dot that appears on the element in the map, as well as, if you can see it, a little red dot that also appears up here in the Watershed Explorer. We can remove the computation point designation by right click, unselect computation point, and it's gone. Another way to identify a computation point on our map is to go up to parameters menu and then computation point manager. From there, we'll click the select elements button, and then we have a list box of all of our elements based on the selected fields up here. Right now, it's only showing us the junctions which have observed data. And when observed data, of course, refers to the, if you click Options tab, observed flow or observed stage data. But we don't have any observed data for our junction, so we're going to have to uncheck that checkbox if we want to see our junction on the list. So select elements, uncheck, and here's our junction. Now we've only filtered by the junctions. We can say all elements, and we see all of our elements right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click junction and select. And as before, if you notice, we have the red dot, which is a visual indication to the modeler that this junction serves as a computation point. All right, we can also, let's go ahead and say the sink is a computation point and select that as well. Okay, close. Now we have two elements that are designated as computation points. And we can go ahead and do the next thing, which is unselect from here or set parameters. The parameters selected must be in the elements upstream of the computation point, but also downstream of any upstream computation points, meaning the sink can only select parameters from reach 2, but junction 1 can only select parameters for the reach 1 or subbasin 1. So if I select junction 1 as my computation point and then click parameters and then click this select button, we're only seeing subbasin 1 and reach 1 as our elements. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's select subbasin 1 and then add a few parameters. So we'll just select the first one and then maybe these two. If you hold down control, you can select multiple items in the same list box at the same time. Click select and then click close. Now what we're seeing in the parameters dialog box for junction 1 are the three parameters that we just selected, listing out the element and the actual parameter. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit close. We can remove parameters this way just by clicking the remove button, and we can reselect parameters the same way by clicking select. Okay, now if I went ahead and click sync, this is the outlet, and then click parameters, then my only option is reach 2. So that's not really what I want to do. All right, let's stick with junction 1 as our example. And next, what I want to do is specify parameter settings. So I'll go ahead and select the computation point, junction 1, that has the that we're working with here, and then parameter settings. And this table shows the elements in the first column. In the second column, it's the name of the method and then the name of the parameter, and then the units, and now minimum and maximum values. So I can, as the modeler, go in and specify minimum values to be used, and that's a big number. But yeah, whatever the minimum and maximum values you want to specify for those parameters, that happens in this dialog box here. So whenever I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and click apply and then close. These minimum and maximum values are adjusted and used for customizable slider bars when adjusting parameter values. The last part of the computation point video here is the results. So what you'll do here is select the particular computation point and then click on results. Now these results refer to time series data, and we have the option to put them in 5 different separate graphs. So for instance, if I select graph 1 and then select, now I can go ahead and specify the particular time series data that I want in that graph. And this time I can actually select the element itself, which is junction 1, or any of the upstream hydrologic elements uh, downstream of the next computation point, at least, such as reach 1 and subbasin 1. So if I select subbasin 1 and then outflow, for example, and then click select and close that, we now have outflow 1 listed as the one and only time series for graph 1. Now, if I go to graph 2 and then select, maybe I want to click reach and outflow, and then I can click select and close. Now for graph 2, it saves automatically. We have the outflow for reach 1. Graph 1 still has the outflow for subbasin 1. And then graphs 3, 4, and 5 have no data. If I wanted to combine those two time series in the same graph, that's not a problem. I'll just remove it from graph 2 and then select graph 1 and then click select and then select reach, outflow, select, and close. Now we have the outflow time series for subbasin 1 and reach 1 in the same graph 1. All right, so we created and removed computation points based on our network model and the hydrologic elements we have to choose from. We specified calibration parameters and set the maximum and minimum values, as well as identify time series that we want to see in our resulting graphs. So that was it for adding and removing and working with computation points in HEC HMS.